Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Got my good friend on, Chris Corso. He's an attorney and a phenomenal one at that. And his website, corsolawgroup.com. Chris, you have offices in Arizona and now recently in Houston, Texas. Tell us a little bit more about your firm before we get into a very timely topic, which will be a featured article over at usdailyreview.com.
Thanks, Kevin. Good morning. Good to be here. Yeah, we have as you say, criminal practice in Houston, and started off in Scottsdale, which we still have. You know, we handle anything from traffic all the way up to heavy felonies. Some of the kind of things we're going to talk about today. You know, we have, as I say all the time, a different way of handling things. You know, communication with us and our clients is really key. You know, a lot of complaints about lawyers are they don't have a good communication plan, and that's something that really matters to me. And we're former prosecutors, some of us, and so that really helps. You know, we use that a lot to help the people and to speak the language, that the government. So we're organized, efficient. That's the kind of practice we have. It's a little different, more than just telling the client to, hey, sit down, shut up, and we're your lawyer. So. That's what we're about. I try to bring a different type of look to the representation for everyone, and it seems to work well.
Excellent. And now let's get to this very timely topic. It's been a national news story. It relates here here in Texas, since the incident happened in Texas, just up 45 up in the DFW area. Ethan Couch, 18 years old, killed 4 people in a drunk driving accident at the age of 16 in 2013 in Fort Worth. He was convicted of 4 counts of intoxication manslaughter, but was not sentenced to any crime, and he had what is being called as the Affluenza defense, which I, for one, believe Affluenza is a true problem. It's called codependency and addiction. But the cure isn't what these people did.
Yeah. Well, this is the kind of thing where I get upset with the government. Okay, because and you're right. I mean, his lawyers did a good job. I mean, they argued a point. They brought an expert on to basically let him know that a psychologist to testify that his behavior was caused by that, and then the connection was that there were no consequences. He didn't believe there were any consequences to his actions because his parents raised him to believe that wealth can buy you anything, and this is the part that's irritating with the government because, this is such a black eye. It comes across, well, hey, I have money, so I'm going to get a better deal. I'm going to get, different things, more consideration by the court. And I don't even think it's due to how well the attorneys, their arguments are or some of the ideas they're having. It's just a different a way they look at things, and it's, what people don't understand, is the statistics. The government, the prosecutor's office, we've talked about it. They work on stats. How many guilties, how many convictions. There's only so many get out of jail free cards that they hand out. So when you have a situation like this, most of my clients, you're not going to be able to do this. We're not going to be able to walk in and say, hey, look, they've been entitled their whole life. And that's a problem, and that's why, you should give them a break. And so it's upsetting when legitimate, real issues happen in a case, and maybe there were others here, but, we have prosecutors that are talking to us that say, well, they're worried about their numbers. Mm-hmm. So we may not get the nod on something or one of our clients. So it's a very real thing. I get it, but it's pretty ridiculous how two people in the same situation can get, completely different results. Like, for example,
the reality is, Chris, is that it is real. And just like cancer, lung cancer is real. And you wouldn't treat lung cancer by giving someone a carton of cigarettes.
Right.
And basically this sentence was the equivalent of giving a lung cancer victim a carton of cigarettes. It's insane to do this.
Well, that's what happened. But really, that's what happened here. I mean, he was supposed to go up to Newport Beach, California, for a substance abuse treatment, which is a 90-day program or something like that with horse riding and swimming and so on. And again, I have clients that look at this kind of thing and say, why not me here? What is, my situation is far less, egregious, and that's happening. So, yeah, it is. It's enabling. And look what happened, as a result. It lasted no time. He was violating. He basically absconded, took off. They think the mother may have had helping them, and then they had to issue a warrant and offer a reward for his whereabouts. So obviously it didn't work, whatever they did, as you say.
Yeah,
so
and as a whole, he lived in a whole culture. His household was a whole culture of arrogance and aloofness when it came to the law. And talk a little bit about that. Entitlement. Entitlement is really the word.
This kid was driving at 13. He's driving himself to school at 13 years old. And, when approached by the school, basically to say, hey, this is not a good idea to allow a kid to be driving. They said, well, you know what? The father offered to buy the school. So, well, I'll buy the school and this won't be a problem. Or the father got pulled over. I think they said I read in 1992 for a traffic stop. And he told the officer, I make more in one day than you do all year. So this is what
the father said.
I mean, and this is his dad and so on. And the mother said that, the mom says that he's gotten in trouble for pretty much anything his whole life. So, yeah, it is a very real affliction. It's but the way it's handled, and again, I have big issue with the government over this, only because of the protection, the equal protection for everyone else.
Yeah.
You have this issue, you bring it forward. You bring forward the arguments as their lawyers did and did a good job.
The lawyers did their job. Their job is to mitigate consequences, not to allow them to happen. The state's the one that dropped the ball.
Oh, I believe that. I mean, I believe that 100%. And again, maybe there were other factors here, but when I have to stand in front of my client and they read something like this and say, well, my situation's the same. Maybe I should be in California at a treatment facility or something like that, and you have to basically, what kind of answers can you give them, other than to say, well, sorry, but, you have to be treated like everybody, all the other people, and this kid is going to be given the nod here.
Well, and the reality is there was a heck of a lot of money paid for this defense. This guy that they hired, he's well known and extremely persuasive. That would have been an additional cost that, you certainly could bring that, but this kind of defense isn't cheap. And in the end, I don't think it served their client very well in the end.
Well, no, it didn't serve the client well, and maybe it served them because further, the case goes further. You have probation violations and things like that. But, to be honest with you, Kevin, the only thing I disagree with is the advancement of the arguments and how persuasive they are. Look, a lot of this, I've been doing this for a long time, okay? And, arguments are arguments. There are a lot of good attorneys that, you pay a boatload of money to that can argue really well. And it's the other people that are coming forward.
Yeah.
When you have a situation like this and a plea or somebody pleads guilty, you go to a sentencing, and now here come the parade of people to support him, and people that may be important in the community. People politically may be important. I don't know who spoke at his sentencing to the judge, but I would say to you that 9 out of 10 times, that's got more to do with it than the lawyering.
Yep.
Who's actually speaking to the judge.
Yep. Well, the kid is on the run, and apparently so is the mom. It's really a tragedy, a nightmares. No other word for it than really a tragedy for everyone involved. And it's really a terrible case. About 30 seconds left, Chris. Final thoughts, and by the way, give your website while you're at it.
Sure. The website's Corso lawgroup.com. Corso lawgroup.com. Yeah, again, my thought on this is there are more people in the world, okay, that aren't suffering from this affliction that are asking for the same type of consideration as far as the facts of the case go. It shouldn't matter who's standing there, standing up for the client or people that come forward at sentencing. And it didn't, obviously, it's too little, too late by the government. I mean, they're trying to get this thing transferred back now. filing motions, and he's not even around. So, I just, for my clients, the same type of arguments are going to be made, and for every client out there. And I just think the government, should stop handing out these get out of jail free cards because of who's standing in front of them.
Because it doesn't serve anybody, including the perpetrator in this case. It didn't serve him well at all, or his family. It's just a horrible, horrible story, and it only validated that he can live by different rules than everyone else. Chris Corso, thanks so much for being with us, sir.
Kevin, thank you. Happy holidays to you and all your listeners.
You bet, and same to you. When we come back, more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there, and especially this interview at usdatareview.com. It'll be a featured article there soon. More for you right after this on The Price of Business.